p.m. This time, I'd like to have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to have a moment of silence to honor the military, firefighters, road workers, and sheriff deputies as they serve our community here and abroad. Thank you. Roll call, Mr. McLaughlin.
Trustee McGuire,
Yes.
Trustee Mann,
Yes.
and Trustee McLaughlin.
Trying to get, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
It's kind of faint.
Okay, I'm working on it, sorry. Sound better?
Also present in the meeting, we have Marion Perry, number one concerned citizen, Captain Andy Flagg from the Sheriffs, Assistant Chief Wilcox, Randall Fletcher, Sheila Back, and user 123456.
And Robin Fletcher's with us as well, my wife.
Thank you. Okay, we had technical issues with the work session at 6 o'clock. We could not get quorum logged into the meeting, and we had a fairly light agenda. One was a discussion of the workman's comp rebates and dividends, which is on tonight's agenda, the regular meeting agenda as well, and discussion about purchase of a new police cruiser, which we can take care of that in this meeting. We don't have any prior meeting minutes to approve. Fiscal Officer's report. Ms. Edwards, you have the floor. Looks like she's not logged into the meeting. Okay, let's move on we can come back to that if she gets logged in. Old business, trustees, do you have any old business to discuss?
Well, with the original Ohio State Audit Engagement Agreement and letter, is that going to be in there? Old business?
Yeah, we can, Sylvia is looking for signatures on that. As of yesterday, it looks like you were the only person that signed it. Mr. McLaughlin, when can you get into the office to sign that?
It has been signed, Mr. McGuire. Did you sign it?
No, I was waiting on you.
Okay, one other amendments to the original Ohio Audit Engagement Agreement.
Explain that again, Mr. President, Trustee Mann, please. Explain that again. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Okay, do you have your package from your folder?
Yes.
Look at item 2. Mr. Wolf wrote today, April the 6th, midway's the page. There's 3 items there.
On the agenda?
It's in your package. And it's also, well, it's going to be another one, but BWC, we're going to get to that one too here in a little bit. You don't see that one?
I'm looking for something off the agenda. I'm looking for a resolution. What am I looking for?
Okay, the Ohio State auditors stated in an email that they will work with the Jefferson Township fiscal officer to perform the transfer of excessive money correctly after the 2020 audit is done, completed. And you've already signed the one letter, the agreement letter that the auditor, that they wrote for us to sign for the audit itself. You've already signed that one, so.
I did see an amendment that added $1,400 to their original quote for extra work. I saw that. And I think what you're talking about, Trustee Mann, is the workman's comp. I know that I spoke with Sylvia today, as a matter of fact, and she said that after the audit findings have been established, then they'll go in and work on the adjustments. So I think that's what you might be talking about.
Well, no, the deposit, any BWC excessive funds into the 2021 agreement. I'm sorry, into the 2021 general fund. All the townships have signed that, have done that.
Yeah, we've got a resolution on the agenda tonight to address that issue.
Okay. Those three items is all I was talking about.
We're going to discuss that when we get to resolutions then?
Yes,
with
we can
that.
do that.
Okay, any other old business? I got an email back from the vendor trying to do transcriptions, and they were unable to access the link with the Zoom meeting minutes that you sent out to everybody, Mr. McLaughlin. Are you able to provide an updated link for that?
I guess. Isn't it on the hard drive there at the office? The iDrive, whatever you guys call that drive, in Calumet? I thought it was
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, one way or the other, I can make it available. Yeah,
Okay.
it needs to be done.
You've got an email from today. If you look at that, if you
Okay.
could forward a new link.
I do it during, okay, I did originally move all that because it was 45 hours worth of data. So I originally moved that with a service I use. People use different services. I use Dropbox. I like Dropbox. For big files, I use Dropbox so I can make you make a link, but it's only good for a short period of time. It's not good forever. And Dropbox holds those files. So I can upload those again to Dropbox. I'll give the link out there and you can do what you want with it.
Do you think there's also a copy of that out on the hard drive?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other old business, trustees? Okay, new business, we've got the BWC discussion. Do we need to discuss any of that before we get into resolutions?
Or could you explain that for like the new people like me, what that means? It's an acronym. Can you give me a background, some context or something?
Okay, there's Mr. Fletcher, there's a part of the meeting where the public can address the trustees where you'll have a chance to ask questions and go through that. So right now we're conducting our business, so you'll get a chance to speak later on in the meeting.
Okay. I wish you would have explained that to me at the beginning. You didn't say anything. I'm a new member, and you didn't give us the protocol or the breakdown or anything. And I was here for like 15 minutes before this started. So I wish you would have explained that at the beginning.
Sure.
So is there anything else I need to know before we proceed?
But when we get to that point, I'll walk you through the process and get you familiar with that, okay?
So, President, we got a first-time check, original check from PwC that we had to split up the way it came in. That is correct, trustees, right? Like 64% fire, 26% general, 11% roads. Because the money comes from the employees doing their job, that money's paid on that, so that's where the money comes from. We got a first draw, and it was off of that, and it had to be split up that way. Now, this money is up and above that, correct?
Yes,
Is that what I read?
that is correct.
You know that to be any different, McGuire?
Yeah, trustees, I've got a letter from the auditor of state. Do you want me to read this into the record?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is Auditor of State Bulletin 2020-007, dated November 13th, 2020. The bulletin purpose, Ohio Worker Compensation System is a mandatory state-run insurance program which provides coverage for employees suffering job-related injuries. In exchange for the payment of premium by employers to the Bureau of Workmen's Compensation, BWC, the BWC provides payment of compensation to the injured employee while covering medical costs resulting from the job-related accident or disease. On November the 2nd, 2020, the BWC Board of Directors approved Governor Mike DeWine's request to send $5 billion in dividends to Ohio's employers to ease the COVID-19 continued impact on the state's business community and workforce. This is the third dividend declared and paid in 2020, bringing the total dividend dollars for employers to nearly $8 billion this year to ease the financial pressure on private and public employers in the pandemic. BWC will apply the dividend to qualified employers, unpaid balances first, and mail a check for the remainder in mid-December. The agency issued a $1.54 billion dividend in late April, of which $184 million went to local government taxing districts such as counties, cities, townships, and school districts. So what's happened here, and this is for the residents on this meeting, we've gotten a refund check back, and now the Board of Trustees has a resolution that we need to decide and vote on related on how we will redeposit those funds. They were initially paid out of the cost centers for the various departments like fire, road, administration, and so on. Does that clarify? Thumbs up or nod your head. Does that clarify, help you understand what we're talking about here?
Yep. So, but hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, so from what I found, we got got a check for about 80-ish, of which 20 has to be split the same way it was before. The 64% fire, 26% general, 11% roads. And then, so the rest of that money, the $60,000, we got to think of what's best for the township. Just sticking it in the general fund to be done whatever it wants to be done with doesn't sound like a good management of the money. I know we need a new sheriff's vehicle, and being a sheriff's vehicle, that works with the fire department. The sheriff department helps the road guys with trash and different things. We need a new sheriff's vehicle. Not enough money in the sheriff's fund to pay for that. A new sheriff's vehicle would take a little burden off the sheriff's fund, put that in there, and then take the rest of it. Maybe you split it the same way, the 64, 26, 11.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yes.
Let me read another section of this.
Okay.
You guys have not read the actual letter, but all departments that paid into this fund were reimbursed already. They've had that done. This is excess money.
Correct.
And with this excess money, that is what a lot of places are putting in their general fund, because all the money that those different departments put in, that they were given that money back. So you still have not looked at the one letter, but there's about, let me read about 10 points here, if I can.
Go ahead.
This is not a decision of the fiscal officer per the state auditor. This must be a decision solely from the trustees per state of Ohio directives, highly suggested and permitted by the Attorney General and BWC due to the COVID-19 effects on general funds, one-time opportunity to improve the general fund. There was an email sent to all trustees from the state auditors asking for a vote. This email was placed into your package explaining that it is an to deposit all excessive funds into general, but trustees must vote. Ohio state auditors stated in the email that they will work with the Jefferson Township fiscal officer to perform the transfer of this excessive money correctly after the current 2020 audit is completed. It is an easy process to perform this task. Other townships including Butler Township, Washington, and Miami Township in Montgomery County has deposited these funds already into the general fund. A deposit from BWC of excessive funds will majorly help boost the Jefferson general fund that is so low. The original refund of funds already have been deposited back into each department's fund to repay for premiums paid out in the past. So all departments are 100% whole from BWC. This is excessive of this deposit, the funding free from any requirements. The state of Ohio is recommending that the excessive funds be deposited into general.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I say something on that? I couldn't get in on the other, this is Tracy. That is not totally true. That money has not been, I think you're reading that by Mr. Wolf's interpretation. That is not totally true. If you read the Auditor of State's bulletin, that money has not been refunded to the other funds yet. You have to get that money out of that fund, then the excess after you put them in all the funds correctly. Then that's when you have to make the decision on where that goes. So what you read isn't totally true. It has not already been made, the other funds have not been made whole as the word you read. So I just wanted you to make sure you guys understood that was not a fact. I don't think any of you have read that Auditor of State's bulletin, because you would see that that was not true. The money, but you still, the rest of it is true. You still need to make a decision on where the remainder of that money will go. So I don't want you guys to expect that you're going to get 80,000, and that's not the number. I'm just saying the number. You're going to get 80,000 in the general fund. You won't get that total amount. They still have to reimburse the others' premiums back before you get that amount to whatever fund you decide to put it in. And I just wanted, as fiscal officer, it's my duty to let you know that is not true totally.
I do know from my conversation today with Sylvia, with the auditor's department, that she is going to help us break down those funds based on the outcome of this resolution. So we will be getting help from the state on handling this issue.
That's no different than they do anyway. We're not going to get any more help than we always get. They're just going to adjust our funds based on what you guys decide tonight.
Well, whatever
Okay, any other?
Good.
And your decision is to decide where you want to put the fund. They'll adjust it based on what you decide.
I don't like the idea of sticking in the general fund just with not attached to something specifically. To take however much money ends up being after we split up whatever we have to split up, so we get to just the surplus money. To take that surplus money and just stick it in the general fund without any attachment, it goes to pay for this. It's going to support that. Something along them lines. It too easily comes up missing.
Okay, any other discussion on the BWC funds? Okay, let's move on to the new cruiser issue. Captain Flagg, do you want to walk us through this again?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We currently have 2 Jefferson Township cruisers. They're about 2.5 years old at this point. They're shared between 5 deputies that are assigned to the Jefferson Township contract. We budgeted for a 3rd police cruiser this year, so it's being the cost of that cruiser is being included in the quarterly payments that Ms. Edwards is making to the sheriff's office. There's a little bit of an issue right now getting police cars. So, with the approval of the resolution, we'll begin trying to locate a Ford Police Interceptor SUV to purchase. But this will give us the ability to spread the drive time of the 5 deputies assigned to the beat amongst 3 cars rather than 2, which hopefully gives us a little more longevity in the 2 cars we got. And then I'd like to, eventually move to a cycle where we're replacing maybe 1 at a time on a regular schedule. But this will get us to that point. It'll allow the 2 SUVs that are there that are currently 60-some thousand miles to lower the wear and tear and get a little bit more life out of them by bringing in the 3rd patrol car. And then, of course, one of those shifts in the evening is a kind of a swing shift. So we essentially would end up with, a cruiser on the road 24 hours a day under the current program, where we'll alleviate some of that with the purchase of the 3rd one.
You have any idea, Captain Flagg? Do you have any idea a ballpark price on that new vehicle? Just a ballpark price.
The new vehicle right now is running about $47,000.
Okay.
We budgeted for 45, so we'll be slightly over. I have been working with the radio repair to kind of repurpose maybe some equipment that's on hand to lower the cost to us. For that cruiser. So that's kind of why I put it at not to exceed 50,000. We knew it was going to be more than we had budgeted for because of the price increase that Ford went through last year. They raised the price on the all their police packages quite a few $1,000s each.
Okay.
So, I think the equipment at the time was coming out around 14,000. So we're going to be significantly less than going that route. But we should be able to get it done probably a little less than 50, but 50 would be safe. That's screens, radios, MDT, lights, and the vehicle itself.
And does that include the lettering and everything that has to go on it?
It'll be
And
ready
so,
for the road.
and so right now we're just paying at the rate of 45, the payments we're making.
Yes,
So we're gonna need additional, say, 5,000.
5,000.
So just trustee, so you're aware, we're gonna, because we have a contract with the sheriff, we're gonna be eating into next year's fund, which we're gonna be short on next year's fund when we pay the sheriff. So you guys need to be aware of this. And that was, I think that's what trustee McLaughlin was suggesting, that maybe we should take some of that BWC money and reserve it for some payment maybe on this vehicle, because we're gonna run into shortage next year when we have to pay the sheriff. And that's what we had years ago, and we had a problem. And that this contract is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember, don't we have two more years on the contract, or one?
I think we have this year and next year.
And so I think we're gonna be running short next year, so we're gonna have to look at that. It's gonna be running close. So there's something that you might want to consider with that BWC money as well.
Good, trustees, any other discussion on the cruiser?
So, but our actual monthly payment, that new vehicle is budgeted into what we're paying now. I mean, we're just saying at the end of the year, we might be about $5,000 short. Am I understanding that conversation correctly?
We budgeted 45,000, which is being included into the
Okay.
the quarterly payment. So yeah, you'd end up with basically the equipment inside of it, the light bar, and the markings that would not be covered by the original payment.
So we could take, so then just to save, to make it easier, we could take 5,000 of the BWC surplus funds and apply that into a fund strictly for the sheriff's payments. Put it into the sheriff fund, so we're not, make sure we don't come up short. Try to protect ourselves.
So is that like a budget line item or something? Is that what you call that?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rand,
Mr. Fletcher, you need to ask your questions when you get to public comments.
you still haven't explained the protocol. So let's get to that then.
Okay, I'm running the meeting. We will give you a chance to speak during public comments.
What's the protocol? I'm just going to keep speaking. You explain to me what
Administrator,
on.
turn off Mr. Fletcher.
Oh, we will talk.
Trustees, any other discussion on the cruiser?
I have none.
Okay,
I don't have any.
okay. Let's move on to resolutions. Are we on resolution 21-013? Ms. Edwards,
No.
what
No,
resolution?
I don't know, because you screwed up the resolution so bad last time. I have no clue of where we're at. You have not given me any copies of the resolution for the last two meetings. So I
Okay,
have
we're gonna
no
call,
clue what that-
we're gonna ccall this
But it's not
resolution
13.
21-014. This is a resolution accepting the resignation of Jeremy Henry from the road department. I move to adopt resolution 21-014, accepting the resignation of Jeremy Henry, full-time road worker 3 from the Jefferson Township Road Department.
We're gonna do questions?
Well, we've got to get it on the floor first.
Okay.
So if you want to second it, we can open the discussion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Mann, seconding the motion. Go ahead, Mr. McLaughlin, with your questions.
Did we have any closeout paperwork or closeout meeting, closing out interview with Mr. Henry? That been documented? I just know in times past we get in trouble for not doing that.
I think he turned in a letter. I don't know whether or not he had an exit interview with Wolf. I do know that he went to a higher paying municipality. I think he went to City of Dayton. Any other discussion on the resignation of Jeremy Henry? Roll call, please. Trustee McLaughlin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Mann?
Yes.
James McGuire votes yes. Okay, we've accepted the resignation of Jeremy Henry.
What number are you giving that, Jim?
21-014.
Okay, thank you.
Next, resolution number 21-015. The Jefferson Township Board of Trustees authorized the Township Fire Chief to hire 5 probationary firefighters, EMT-B, and paramedics to the Jefferson Township Fire Department. Trustees, would somebody like to make a motion to adopt this?
I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. McLaughlin, second. Questions?
Yes, Mr. Wilcox, are you available to have a word? And I'm just curious if you give these guys a thumbs up, if you think they're good for the